Now I'm going to introduce you to, he turned into one of my good friends. We tell lies and this kind of stuff. He was even foolish enough to name his kid Dallas. So I'd like to introduce you to Nick Tuckner.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Guaranteed he's going to talk more than you with the name Dallas.
Probably will. He already has my voice. That's scary, isn't it? 21st annual CAB Banquet, folks. I mean, this is, it's been going on for a long time, and there's a reason why. There's a reason why it's successful, and I think a lot of it has to do with people like you that show up each and every year. And this year, we have even more Prescott faithful that have shown up, and we've, of course, incorporated softball and Prescott Community Recreation. When we talk about Cardinal Athletics, we're all one team, right? One flock. So it's cool to see everything brought together here tonight. Thanks again to Coach Ryan, Prescott Baseball, for asking me to come back again. They're obviously short on voice talent. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something, too. As I sit up here and I'm sweating, dripping, nervous, talking in front of a giant crowd, this isn't my thing. People might be saying, well, you're a radio guy. You talk all the time. You talk to thousands of people every time you get on the air. True. Not looking at all you in the eyes, am I? It's not a comfortable thing for me to come up here, but you know what? The team asked me to do it. This was my job. Now I know we have upwards of 25, 26 guys in the Prescott baseball program this year that can pitch. I think that's crazy, for a good reason. You need a lot of pitchers. You get to the end of the season, especially if we end up playing double headers. Hope we don't, Mother Nature. But to have that depth is so very important in the game of baseball. But with 26 guys that can pitch, all 26 guys can't get the baseball right away, can they? You got to take your turn. You got to earn your spot. Now, while one guy might be pitching, the other 25 might be in the field, on the bench. But Coach Ryan might say, hey, look, I need a second baseman today. It's you. Are you comfortable doing it? Probably not. You gonna start sweating? Get nervous? Probably. Is it your first start? Now then maybe double that. But you have to get outside your comfort zone to be successful. And no matter where coach asks you to be, varsity, JV, C squad, pitcher, catcher, first baseman, bench, seed, spitter, you do it. And you do it like many that have worn the Cardinal red do every time, every season, every time you take the field, every time you put the jersey on. And I think that's a big reason why I have so much respect for this program. Because everybody that wears a Cardinal uniform, they're kind of wired the same way, aren't they? They're different personalities, the kids are, but everybody's kind of wired the same. We're here for the same goal. So you kids that are here tonight, you players, I don't care if you're baseball, softball, I don't care if you play hockey, tetherball, whatever it might be, when you're told by your coach to get out there and help the team, whatever that might be, do it. Because that's going to make us as big of a success as Prescott baseball has been for as many years as I've been around the program. This is my 16th year covering Prescott Cardinal baseball, believe it or not. It's been a long time doing this. And every year, something different, something cool happens. Every team writes its own story. The team that's here tonight isn't the same team that was here 1 year ago. Isn't the same parents, isn't the same group of kids. But you all write your own story. And that story starts here tonight. Actually, it started at practice on Monday. That's where your first chapter was being written. And again, I ask each and every one of you kids as you start the year, don't be afraid to get out of that comfort zone. Do what you need to do. Do what the team needs you to do to make the team, to make Prescott successful. Herb Brooks said it best. It's not about the name on the back of the jersey. It's about the name on the front. I don't have to tell you kids at Prescott that at all, because like I've said, over the years, that you guys have been as respectful on and off the field as any team I've ever been around. Just great kids. I mean, look at yesterday. How many kids did we have sandbagging as our cities get ready for floods? I live in Hastings. You guys all know that. Okay, I'm in Rivertown too. But the one thing about Prescott is I didn't see the whole baseball team or the whole softball team tomorrow or whatever it might be all sandbagging together. They might when the floodwaters come up a little bit. You'll see some volunteers, but to have your whole team doing it together, okay, that builds something. It might not be baseball related, but it builds camaraderie, teamwork, the will to be successful together. And that's what I absolutely love about this program. And when you come here for 21 years to discuss the game, the kids, the coaches, great years, as Dallas said, even some lies that might happen once in a while. It's special. This is a great community to be part of, and tonight we're going to hopefully get into a lot of why and what makes Prescott baseball and softball so special. And of course, our featured speaker tonight, he's seen a lot of great baseball over the years. And a man that I've gotten to know as well and I look up to, not just Coach Ryan, by the way. I look up to him too. He's meant a lot, seriously, to my progression as a broadcaster. How to ask proper questions. How to enunciate my words. No. But he, Coach Block, there are people that I look up to. I'm 38 years old. I just gave up the game of baseball not too long ago. And the one thing that I look back at my time as a baseball player, and the one thing I might regret is the fact that I never got to play for Steve Block or Jeff Ryan. I wonder what that would be like, and how my personality would go over on that bench. Kids, you got great coaches. Parents, you got great coaches. The one thing I'll say to the parents too, and I'm not going to leave you out of this tonight, let the coaches do what they do. They don't get paid $30,000 a year to do this. They don't get paid $100,000 a year to do this. They don't get $10 million 3-year contracts. What they get is, here, we got to hand out jerseys. What's bus time tomorrow? How do I figure out a way to do a lesson plan plus a practice plan and get the lineup ready for Friday's game? Let the coaches do what they were hired to do. I can't stress that loudly enough. From the chair that I sit in, folks, as a radio broadcaster, I get a unique look at what goes on. I see the angle from the players. I see the angles from the coaches, the athletic directors. But I see it from the parents too. Your kid might not play the first game, might not play the first 5 games. You know, I broke my toe at first base, got stepped on. I had to sit for 10 games. But you know what? I had a guy behind me that could come in and fill the role. Again, going back to be ready to go. Pick up your teammates. It might not be comfortable, but you're going to do it for the good of the team. So without further ado, folks, I want to thank you all for coming out. And again, just you looking at the blue sheets that we have, and again, I think Dallas, you do a majority of this stuff, I would assume. You know, okay, do everything around here. By the way, all the programs that you folks see every game, we don't get that everywhere else. Any games I go broadcast, you know, I might end up being in Red Wing. Beautiful field. Meesville, beautiful field. Do I get a program of the 2 high school teams that are playing? No. Do I get a bunch of odds and ends, baseball funnies, how the Twins and Brewers are doing for free? Dallas Eggers does that stuff on his own time. And again, when I talk about people that I look up to, when it comes to my position and my job, Dallas Eggers is one guy that I look up to. I'm going to try not to go too far into this. We've got so much stuff to do, so little time. But I'm so proud of the Prescott community, just because of what they saw as a vision. The vision has started to kind of, clouds are going away. You're starting to see something. You're seeing progression. You all, every one of you that are here today, you all have a part in the progression of Prescott softball, baseball, and the PCR program. We're going to get into our season summaries here, folks. We're going to look back at the year that was. 2018 was a great year for Prescott baseball and softball. It was not for weather. That was one of the most miserable weather years we've gone through. And again, back to what I said earlier about Prescott kids, Prescott itself battled through it. Boys had a tremendous season. The girls go to the state tournament. What an experience that was. I've taken many trips to Madison, let me tell you that, over the years. Mostly Gopher-related business. But I've never had as much fun as I had. Even though it was 24 hours, that was sure a lot of fun. PCR program too, folks, just really special. I mean, this is where it all begins. This is where the dreams start. This is where the kids want to be the next Peter Brookshaws of the world. You know, next Kaylee Westcotts, whoever it might be, come through the last couple of years, those kids, wonderful, and that's where it starts. Supporting PCR, folks, is really, really huge in the progression of our young athletes. Last but not least, before I start to bring the coaches up, look at the second to final page in your little program. Almost a page and a quarter of local sponsors who have stepped up to give their money, their time, their wares to Prescott baseball, softball, PCR, the CAB Company. This is an amazing list. For a city the size of Prescott to have a list like this that is supporting what we're doing here, not just tonight, but over the last couple of years to get to where we want to be, it's unbelievable. So thank you. A round of applause for all the businesses that are here, especially the ones that are in attendance tonight. We're going to start bringing the coaches up here to talk about their seasons, their recaps, things that happened last year, and a little look ahead to maybe what's to come here in the coming season. So, what order? Should we start with the youngest kids and go? We'll start with PCR. So I think, who's going to talk? Bart?
Angela McGee.
Angela McGee will talk for PCR. Angela McGee. Angie, hi.
You bet. Well, hello. I am Angela McGee. For those of you that don't know, I'm the PCR director here for Prescott. I run K-8 athletics. More than just baseball and softball, but I run it all across the board. So PCR has seen a great increase in numbers over the last couple of years. Last year we fielded 19 baseball teams and 15 softball teams, 1st through 8th grade. So big numbers coming out even through the younger kids. Our newly developed First National Bank fields are up and running for the first season this year. So we're really excited about that. So it puts us at 11 playable spaces throughout the town, which has been, anybody who's had kids in the programs knows that it's been needed desperately. We're excited to see kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like the fields are ready to go. We have a lot of work yet to do, but we can play ball on them, and that's kind of the big thing. We want to thank the CAB Company for including PCR, including helping us continue the building of the fields. Dallas had asked me to come up with my hopes and dreams for what PCR wanted, and if you drive on Dexter Street and see the fields, we have 3 fields. We've got fences, we can play ball. Obviously our dreams, and the hopes of what we want is always bigger. We want dugouts, we want a concession stand, we want scoreboards, and anything else Mike Matzik can come up with to include into that list is what we really want. So it's coming. We're seeing a light, so we're very excited about that. That's really all I have. Our goal is to be able to host tournaments. Like, we want to host tournaments. We can do it on our 2 fields. The numbers of teams that we can include are a little bit smaller, but having 5 fields that are within a distance is a big deal for PCR. So we're very excited to be a part of CAB. We thank them for including us.
Thanks, Angie. When it comes to volunteering too, folks, I'm sure Angie, if you want to help out, get a hold of somebody with PCR. Volunteers too, that's one thing I didn't mention in my long-winded intro, was don't be afraid to volunteer. If you have time to do it, do it. If I didn't have a headset on 24/7, 365, or talking into a microphone, it'd be something, that you jump at. To be part of something, like I said before. Stop it. Jim Johnson, by the way, everybody. Yes, so let's give him a round of applause. He'll be here all night. Peanut gallery. Actually, Jim, if anybody knows Jim, longtime mud hen, field maestro, field general. The guy knows more about seeds, blades of grass, turf, watering grass, whatever it might be. If you have anything to talk about fields or anything, and he's been a big part, folks, of getting a lot of these fields playable for us. So again, Jim really, in all seriousness, a great baseball man himself, and knows a ton about fields, setting fields up, and we couldn't thank him enough for all he's given back to Prescott baseball in the last couple of years, so thank him too. Now, yeah, good choose round of applause. PFA.
Prescott Fast Pitch Association.
The Prescott Fast Pitch Association. Now these are, like I said, the future Cardinals. The girls that will bring us down to Madison again. And we'll have Bart Matzik talk all about the PFA.
Thank you, Tuck.
Yep.
And thank you, Dallas, and the CAB Company on behalf of PFA and the Prescott Fast Pitch Association. So PFA, I don't know how much you know about the history there, but we started it in 2014. We had a desire and a goal to build basically what CAB has become. We didn't have anything in place for the girls. It was our vision to really try to get something and get that foundation in place. And in the last 5 years, I think we've had quite a few accomplishments, and I'll rattle that off to you here in a little bit. But our mission for the Prescott Fast Pitch Association is to work with the community to bridge the gap between youth and high school softball opportunities, provide players of all ages an opportunity to learn and enhance skills in the game of softball, continue developing positive sportsmanship, teamwork, and work towards improving our softball facilities. And again, I think we've made a ton of progress on that. We have a Facebook page, approximately 220 followers and growing every single year. It's our primary means of communication, lots of information out there. We advertise as many high school and youth softball accomplishments as we possibly can throughout the year with our summer teams, our high school teams, and so on, just to kind of get that visibility out there. The members, PFA members, if you're here, please stand up, if you could. Candy, Melissa, Chad, Barb, Chad. We're very small, volunteer-driven organization. A couple members couldn't make it tonight. And I want to call out to Tom Hillenbrand, Dave French. I don't know if you stood up back there, but I know you're part of it. We're in kind of, the way we're structured is very, it's not super formal. So we have the ability to kind of roll volunteers in, and we're always looking for volunteers and people to be part of helping us shape where we want to go with things. So the past few years, we've raised well over $20,000. We did that through a variety of means. We had a you remember the tax grand opening over there, we had a booth that we ran there that kind of got us going. We host softball clinics every year for our youth softball programs in partnership with the high school team. We run a chicken fry in the spring. In fact, we've got one coming up here on April 6th down at the American Legion, so please come on down for the chicken fry. And we host several meat raffles throughout the year. We have done a lot just in terms of labor, manual labor, going into the varsity softball fields. I don't know if any of you have been to the fields lately, but there has been a ton of progress made on that field over the years. We put a little over $10,000 into a brand new concession stand that voted concession stand, best concession stand in Western Wisconsin. Is that right? So thank you for that.
They do a lot of it.
And I want to personally shout out to the Broad Street back there, Dan and Mary. Thank you for all of your support there as well on helping us get that project put together. We put a lot of work into the dugouts, painting, re-roofing, new concrete. We put netting up. I mean, there's just a lot of things that we've done there. We're currently, if you've driven by the field at all lately, we're currently putting new windows and steel siding up around the press box up there. So that project should hopefully be done within the next couple of weeks. That's going to be a little over $5,000 to complete that. I mentioned that we host a PFA softball clinic in the spring. We're doing that again. That will be, I think, May 5th, if I'm not mistaken. April 28th. Okay, I'm on. Check the Facebook page. We also sponsor and run fall softball. This is something that has been relatively new. It happens in the state of Minnesota in the metro area, but we've had every year in excess of 60 kids that want to play softball in the fall. And we help them get organized, we help select the teams, build the teams, and get them registered into our western metro area, or eastern metro area, Minnesota, to participate in fall softball. That's been a huge success for us and a good feeder program, and it keeps kids engaged playing, especially in the fall when there's just not a whole lot of activity going on. The other thing too is we sponsored and coordinated a hitting clinic with Coach Block, who's going to be coming up here to talk, but he came in and did a hitting clinic for us in the high school gym. And we had roughly 25 coaches or so. We took some videos. Steve was a huge help to us to help us, our coaching staffs, get kids going and teach hitting mechanics the proper way. So thank you to Coach Block for that. So Tuck mentioned that we went to state last year. It was a huge accomplishment, and that group of kids that graduated and helped get us there, that's when we started PFA, and that was kind of when we felt that initial wave and momentum coming with the talent that we had, and we just wanted to kind of build on it. And I felt like, we have progressively gotten better. The program's getting better. The high school program is very strong. We're going to have a very solid team again this year. Last year, after we went to state, PFA hosted and sponsored a pizza luncheon. We rented out a pavilion in a park, and we invited all of our fans to come and join us. And I think we ordered like 40 pizzas or something like that. But it was just a great experience to kind of get all of our fans and all of our kids together to kind of just hang out, especially after a tough loss like that. But what a great accomplishment for our girls last year. So in the future, and I promise, Dallas, I'll wrap this up. I didn't want to take up this much time. But we've got several aspirational and planned improvements. Some of the biggest things that we're working on right now is permanent fencing. In replacing the fencing that we have at the softball field right now, the varsity softball field, if you were at the games last fall, playoff atmosphere was awesome. PFA was a huge part of that. We had music rolling, we had great views. Our fencing down there is not the greatest that we have right now. So keeping that kind of in place but replaced with our upgraded is one of our goals, and then putting a permanent outfield fence in as well to go along with this. But We wanted to keep the viewing on the outfield fall ball lines. We had just an outstanding crowd last year. We hosted a sectional semifinal, and there was cars parked all the way down to Malone. And we had fans lined up on both foul ball lines in the outfield. It was just a really great environment. And if you haven't been to a softball game in a long time, I would fully support you. Get out there and come watch the girls, because they are really fun to watch. I grew up with baseball, and softball is a very fast-paced sport. I want to thank Dallas and the CAB Company again for the scoreboard. I think it's going to be a huge addition. We're really looking forward to getting that in place. We want to get irrigation in the fields. We want to get our infield reskinned. And of course, we'd love to have lights someday as well up there. So I guess with that, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody here, because I think it's really important that everybody's coming together. The CAB Company's coming together. They're kind of bringing softball under their wing. We're really excited about that relationship going forward, and thank you for that.
Thank you, Bart. Before I move any further, I know we got to get things going here, but before they all leave, I just want to say thank you to Patax. Again, when you come to a city like Prescott, to have a family-owned, not just grocery store, but all-purpose store, and then you got the old Patax turning into what it's become. My goodness, this beautiful gathering space. Mike, Pat, Rafe, Rocky, I'm going to miss them, but everyone's here. I mean, there's family here that are all working for us. They, too, are part of what we're trying to get done here tonight. So a big round of applause for all the Patax and everybody working here tonight. We're going to move it along a little bit, and we are going to go to, well, varsity softball. I don't think Coach Morris is not here tonight. But a great season. I can't stress anymore. I think I kind of talked earlier on, but how much fun that was, and maybe get back there again, it would be just tremendous. We're going to move it to the Legion Baseball. Now, Legion Baseball, for you folks that might not know what Legion Baseball is, some of the kids in the high school team, or kids that are in high school, they play in the summertime, and they play for the Rivermen. So we are going to give it to Mr. John Anfinson, and he is going to talk about the Prescott Rivermen American Legion Baseball program.
So I'm John Anfinson. For those who don't know me, recap our last year's season. It was kind of crazy. We had a ton of games, a lot more than we've had in the past. I couldn't even find all the books. We filled one book up with games. But from June 8th to July 8th, we had 18 kids that played 25 games. That was 9 doubleheaders, and 7 games were 7 to 9 innings. That's 156 innings they played in 1 month. 757 at bats and 1,836 pitches were tossed. That's just crazy. I mean, I think Jason and I were gone every other night, and to have that many pitchers, to be able to go game after game after game. I don't even know how many kids we threw. I bet probably close to 10. The record was 15-10. Part of that was based on how we structured our team. We played a lot of double headers. We go out and we tackle the first game as like a varsity game, and the second game was we're going to clear our bench, and we're going to get everybody out there and get more kids pitching, more kids playing whatever positions they think that they should be playing. And hopefully they got some good innings in. This season, for those of you boys that have not signed up yet, I have a sign-up sheet here, and I'll set it up by the front table there. So if you can, please get your name on there. If you're not already on there, we have 18 signed up. That'd be spectacular. The cost is going to be determined pretty much based on how many kids we have playing. If we have 1 team or 2, or if we need more uniforms, we'll figure that out. Then we also have a chicken fry tomorrow night. So if you are available, Legion, I think it starts at 4 o'clock and goes to 10 o'clock. We have 10 volunteers signed up I think we could use some more, the simple fact that tomorrow night is also trivia night. So a number of the players that were supposed to come, I hope they still show up, and then head on down to trivia night, and parents will try to close that off. But overall, last year, I think it was pretty successful. We played some pretty big teams, playing Eau Claire, Commonwealth, Chippewa. The boys did a spectacular job against those guys in the wood bat tournament. The Eau Claire Pizza Hut team was the team we played, and they were all 19 years old. I guarantee you that. I think back about when John Severson was up here talking about Legion and playing the Eau Claire teams. I thought he was making stuff up, but these guys are huge. I mean, it's like men against boys is what it looked like. It was ridiculous. And the Chippewa team, they were nuts. We ended up splitting. So we beat Hudson, Conomowoc, and then lost to Chippewa and Eau Claire. But the Chippewa game was kind of a sad one. The boys were leading, and then a foul ball gets dropped, which next pitch is probably in the Chippewa somewhere. And then they piled on a few runs after that. But I thought we were actually going to end up with a three-way tie for first, but that's where we're at. So, wrap it up. If you haven't signed up, I'm going to put the sheet up there. Please get your name on there so that I can get you information about Legion Baseball.
Thanks, John. Now we're going to go to high school, folks, and like I said before, it doesn't have to, I don't have to say much more, but you're not stealing the microphone away from me until I mention that this guy is a Wisconsin Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Famer. We named that just a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Got the word in November, right around Thanksgiving, and was inducted this year, this actual 2019. Recognized by the entire state of Wisconsin. And not only that, but when you're recognized by your peers, there's something to be said about that. No matter what we do in life, there's always another person who does the same thing you do. And sometimes, dare I say, jealousy might creep in. But how hard have you worked? What have you put in to get to that spot? Coach Ryan exemplifies hard work, dedication, the fundamentals that he brings forth every season to this team. The way he teaches them is impeccable. There hasn't been many coaches that I have been around that can explain fundamental baseball the way that Coach Ryan can. But getting back to his Hall of Fame nod, when you're announced from other coaches, they feel the same way about you. They might be trying to get to the same place where you are, but they think enough of you to vote you in. There's something to be said about that. 2015, not trying to toot my own horn, I was not the best baseball player on the face of the planet. Let me tell you folks, I was not. I played till I was 35 years old. My left arm finally said, enough. You're done. I didn't really take kindly to that, but it was time. That summer, about 30 total guys thought it'd be a good idea to send me into the Cottage Grove Coyotes Hall of Fame. It's a little town team Hall of Fame. But when you're recognized by your teammates as being a good teammate, a good baseball person, team first, and you're recognized by your peers, that's pretty special. That's why I'm going to bring Coach Jeff Ryan up here. He is a Hall of Famer, folks. A big round of applause for our head coach, Mr. Jeff Ryan.
Okay, holy cow, it is pretty loud. Julie, can you hear me? Okay. First of all, thank you, Mr. Tuckner, for all those nice words. Give that $50 to Nick Tuckner. That's who should have it instead of the CAB Company. Secondly, you look at the schedule. We're right on schedule. Thanks, Bart Matzik. We're right on schedule to where we need to be. If I say that to other people, they get angry, but it's a compliment. Before I give you a quick, and it will be a quick summary of last year, I want to say something I think is really, really important. I was at an event a few years ago, and there was a presenter I thought that said something really, really important. And it's something that's always kind of stuck with me. It always has kind of resonated with me since then. He always talks about the importance of acknowledging others. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're enjoying some success or something good has happened, to always remember that you're standing on other people's shoulders. It's really, really important. You know, you hear people say this, and I know, you know, as a history person, there's a phrase people say, you know, we stand on the shoulders of giants. And that's true, and I think that's really, really important to always acknowledge that there are people before you who did the groundwork. And I'm speaking kind of out of turn here, but I need to recognize someone, and I want that person to stand up even though they don't want to be recognized. The person really who started the CAB Company, the person who had a vision of creating an organization like the organization that's become, and the work that's been done, that Dallas has done here is just incredible. And other people within the CAB committee organization, is just unbelievable what you've done within 1 year. It's just, it's incredible. And you should be very, very proud of that work. But I want to recognize the person who kind of started everything, started the whole thing, and I think that he deserves an enormous round of applause. He's a Friend of Baseball Award winner, a great, great Prescott booster, the George Washington of the CAB Company, Mr. Scott Halverson. Okay, last year we finished 15-7. The boys finished 15-7. Finished in a three-way tie for second place. The weather, of course, was not very conducive to baseball. The team spent much of the season ranked in the top 10, and they were proud of that, and they should be proud of that. There's nothing wrong with getting recognition like that. We're on the cusp of a regional championship, and you know, it's tough. You know, we played Ellsworth, and Coach Block had given them our signs and everything, so we ended up, losing a tough battle with them. Had 3 great games with them and just came up a little short. We had several guys get some postseason recognition. Hunter Damon was named All-Conference, Matt Langer, All-Conference, Andrew Asmeric, All-Conference. You know, Andrew Asmeric pitched the game last year. The game lasted 58 minutes. Complete game, 7 innings, 58 minutes. Okay, about the same amount of time Bart Matzik talked tonight. I think it was, come on. So, last year we had 12 pitchers get varsity innings. Again, you gotta have a lot of pitchers. We'll have good numbers again this year. There was some, Brookshaw, Peter Brookshaw graduated last year, 2-time WBCA Player of the Year. We've never had a State Player of the Year be recognized twice. First team All-State again, and one of the things that's different about baseball, it's not taking anything away from the other sports, but baseball, there's only one first team. All the players are put together. There's no Division I, Division II, Division III, Division IV. Again, it doesn't diminish the accomplishment of those other sports, but you're talking 400 schools, and only 11 players are identified as first-team All-State. Peter Brookshot did that twice, back-to-back. And of course, Peter's playing at North Dakota State, starting, playing second, and hitting over 300. So we've got to figure out a way to replace that guy. That's tough to do. He was a great player, had a great year last year. Also very proud of the CAB Company, the scholarship that is provided. That's another thing that's really important. Peter was named the CAB Company scholarship winner, and we've given, or the CAB Company I should say, has given over $8,000 worth of scholarships to Prescott baseball players who are going on to continue their schooling. One last thing, and then I'll leave. I think it's important to always remember, alumni. And Bart, not to pick on Bart all the time, but Bart always talks about the importance of remembering people who did things that laid the groundwork, and that's really important. And you can ask the players right here at this table, over there, and over there, how much I talk about the alumni. I talk about the alumni as much as I talk about them. And it's so tremendous to see the alumni that are here tonight, and I really appreciate you guys. The stories that I tell are positive stories, and the guys, if you don't believe me, the guys know how much we talk about the alumni and how important the alumni are to just the identity of Prescott baseball in the community. So thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk, and the boys will do their best, and we as coaches, Coach Matzik, Coach Miller, Coach Hintz, will do our best too this year. Thanks.
All right, we got to get going here. We're going to move it over to the Prescott Pirates. Who's talking, Michael?
He's on the way.
All right. Michael Little's going to talk, of course, Cardinal state champion. Our last state championship in baseball, of course. He was there, amongst many other Pirates. Welcome, Michael Little, Prescott Pirates.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Little. Probably not most of you, but I've been with the Pirates this will be my fourth year as a player manager. I guess I don't really have much to say, it's not really a shocker, but we usually play between 20 and 25 games a year. I think last year we played 23 regular season games or so, not including the playoffs. I think we finished 20 and 5 or 6 overall. Just fell short of making it to the state tournament. But I guess a little bit of history. Team started in '95. We've been to the playoffs every year since '96. 12 league championships, 10 state tournament appearances, 1 state tournament win in 2014, and a total record from '95 till 2018 of 463 and 227. So I think that kind of says a lot about the guys that came even before me, for sure. With Brady and Nick and Chuck and everybody else kind of passing it off to me and Billy and all the other guys that came in with me, says a lot about them and a lot about what they kind of helped us instill in our minds. We have, I think everyone knows, we have a lot of fun, but we stay competitive pretty much year in and year out. So I think that says a lot about a lot of the older guys too, so I want to thank them for, kind of showing us the way and how amateur baseball works and stuff like that too. So, I think a lot of things with, amateur baseball and the Pirates especially is, it gives the guys who either do or don't go on to play college baseball the opportunity to keep playing the game that they love to play and building relationships both on the team and, against guys that we play with. Relationships and playing and stuff like that is, something that we always like to do. We grew up doing it as, little kids starting at, 3-4 years old and stuff like that. So I think, with younger guys and when they follow us and, come to our games and stuff like that, I think it's us kind of, wanting to show high school kids and younger kids that, there is, stuff to do after high school baseball or college baseball and stuff like that. So we always need young guys, especially too, to run for guys like Brandon Volker. But yeah, I mean, we're always looking for younger guys, always looking to improve, and we love, keeping ourselves young. I think I'm the oldest guy on the team now, and I kind of realized that last year when I had an 18-year-old Zach Dolan on my left and an 18-year-old Luke Murphy on my right, and I said, wow, I really am the old guy now. But thanks everybody. Thanks Dallas for putting all this together.
That guy is a class example of what a Prescott High School athlete should be. Multi-sports. Doesn't matter the sport he's in, that's what he's zoned in on. Coachable. And just a great all-around guy. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Pirates, as well. I'm jealous. There's nothing better than amateur baseball. If you get a chance on a Sunday, you have nothing to do, and you know there's a game at Fire Hall Field, the boys would appreciate you coming out. Now we're going to have Brad Matzik. I don't think he can talk as long as Bart. But Brad's going to come up and talk pitching. No, we're going to talk Friend of Baseball Award, which is a very fun thing each and every year. Brad.
Just a quick FYI, Mike Little was on the 2012 team state championship, but he also scored the winning run. So I just wanted to All right, this year's recipient of the CAB Company Award goes to a guy that had a son graduate well over a decade ago, and he continues to come to our banquet every single year, which is great to see. And he also helps us out on our annual field maintenance day that we have every single September. And this is what, like I said, well over a decade ago, and he still comes to this all. So this is kind of an easy choice this year. Thanks a lot to Paul Most. There you go, bud. This is yours. Not expected. Yeah. Want to say something? No, I'm fine. All right. Paul says he's fine.
Paul's another guy too that, being a media jackal, when I see he and Dallas somewhere with cameras, mics, wires attached to everything, those guys are, like I said before, they're as big a Cardinals as anybody in this room. We have a new award this year, which I think is really cool now. Working in radio, a lot of times behind the scenes, and I don't think people see that enough, is I'm not in ad sales, okay? I'm not a salesman. I'm not throwing calls against the ads. We have a sales staff at KDWA who handles that. But when I go into one of these businesses that gives back to the programs, I always like to mention that. Shake a hand, say thank you. Even if you don't spend $1 with that particular business or entity, thank you goes a long way, doesn't it? Today we're going to recognize our first ever CAB Company Business of the Year Award. And I'm going to have Dallas come up here right now to introduce our first winner, and first of what should be and hopefully will be many as we go throughout the year. So we'll give it back to Dallas again.
I've been around here for a couple weeks, and back a few decades ago, I'd wander downtown and I'd go in this business, and there was this old guy back in the room back there. And I'd go in and talk to him and this type of thing, and he always said candy. And I'd take my Tootsie Roll or whatever, and I'd meander on. And I also heard that his wife was a teacher. And there was a guy who lives outside of town, and the teacher used to pick him up every day to the one-room schoolhouse because she drove a brand new Chevrolet every year. Cernohous, I've been here for 87 years. Old Grandpa Ray started the business. He's the old guy who used to start. He always had time for me, always stopped to talk to me, always had candy in his office. And the new cars all came out on one day, and it was a great event. Everybody came down. It was free donuts and this. Now they have a new model about every 3 weeks, and it kind of took the edge off. But the Murphy gang blew me away. They invited me in a few months ago and talked to me about how they could help. And I explained a whole bunch of things to them. Juice and I have done our homework for over a year to get to this point, and they offered to come in and buy 2 scoreboards. They bought the scoreboard for the girls. They've had many girls play softball. They've had the boys themselves played, and Luke played, and so they are the business of the year. They were gracious enough. They paid for the girls softball scoreboard, which will be delivered in 2 weeks. We're taking down the old one next week. If anybody wants it, you got to be there that day, otherwise it's going to River City Metal. So I'm not, no, Jim, it's not, you can go to your house, but it's not staying at the ballpark. And also, we have a 32-foot scoreboard coming up at the boys' field to be concreted in. Paul Mansick has got all the beams ready, but Cernohous Chevrolet, I don't know which one of you guys want to come out, but they have really made this possible for all of us, and we have kids in this room that are walking on air because of the things that Cernohous Chevrolet has helped us with. And I got a couple of the boys, and I'm glad I had a chance to embarrass the heck out of them. It's kind of funny being my age, I got to watch those guys when they were literally in diapers. You're up.
Just for everybody's information, I won't shop anywhere for a car now except for at Cernohous. What Ron did for my wife to put her in an Equinox that she actually loves was unbelievable. They bent over backwards to help her, and I think many of us in this room have had that very same experience. And I can't wait, hopefully my car doesn't break down on the way home, but I can't wait for the time that I get to be helped at Cernohous once again and get in my new car. So thanks again to all of the folks, the Murphys, everybody over there, just a class organization, and we thank you for all that you guys have done for us here with the CAB Banquet.